Oh, hello. Waiting for Andrea to join us here on this live. This is Living with Intuition, episode 4. And we're going to talk a little bit about peopling as an empath or intuitive. And also, I had some thoughts today about, just riding the waves of life and how to hold your energy while doing it. All right, let's see. Add thing. Hey. Hey, there
Okay,
we go.
there.
I'm trying to sit back here because it was just like a floating head the last time because of the way it had a.
I
There we
know.
go.
It gets too close. Yeah, I know. I think I was doing that too, actually. But back farther is better.
So today I'm just like it's a tired Lindsay day, but I feel like I'm all glowy. Everybody has been responding like, "Oh, look at you," kind of stuff. Like last night, everybody, like this lady was like, "You match." This little Chinese lady in the elevator. She's just like looking at me and my hair and my space scarf that I had on over to make like a jacket kind of thing. She was like, "You match." And then she's like looking at my shoes and I'm like,
Well, I think
"Oh
I
yeah,
was
take
telling
it
you
that
yesterday,
way. Thank you."
you look really cute. You look really like happy and like relaxed and like cute.
And look, I managed to go out in the sun and not turn into a lobster.
Right. You got a nice
I
tan.
actually
Really
browned.
nice. Yeah.
I didn't just go red.
Well, now you set yourself up for the whole summer now because you've gotten that over with. So you have a nice base tan,
Yeah.
which is good for you. Me, I'm always tan. I don't think I'm ever not tan. Ever since I was a kid, I lived in Florida, and I was tan all the time then. And I don't think I've ever lost my tan lines ever. I mean, they fade a little bit, and the freckles will go like they'll be tame for the winter, but I don't ever lose the tan lines. I'm just always tan anymore, which is nice because then I don't really ever burn. The
Yeah.
freckle, the
Well,
freckles just come out when I get in sun, but
I didn't start freckling until I was in my 20s and I was doing excavations in the summertime. So I would spend like long periods of time out in the sun.
yeah.
That's when I started freckling and I freckle here a little bit. Yeah.
I've always had them. They're all over. I mean, I have like all over my hands and my face. It's the Irish in me.
I love freckles. I like freckles.
I love my freckles. I've always been proud of my freckles. I don't know.
But it's been, yesterday was a beautiful day, and today, like, I just, like, I'm recouping from all the sun and all the activity. It was a lot of walking yesterday for just being the little private island. They had all these meandering paths all over the island, but there was no, like, direct path to, like, the food court in the hot, blistering sun. So you're like taking a tour of the island whether you wanted to or not. It's a little like,
Yeah,
I'm dehydrating as I speak. So I'm still like catching up with that.
I bet.
And then today everybody is just all over the boat, like the pressure has broken. And this is what I find. It's very interesting. Like that second half of the week after like you've hit that last port day on this itinerary, then people are like, all right, the gloves are off. Now I have 2 days. I can do anything. I'm going to run around in my bathing suit for 2 days straight
Right.
and like just occupy every space on the ship.
There's no schedule. There's no place to really be. You just chill and do whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's nice though.
Yeah.
But then
Yeah.
everybody's doing it.
So I was going to try and find a place to go out on the ship, but it was just too hot. It was just too hot to, go on the scavenger hunt to try and find a place that was quiet enough, because not only would you not be able to hear me, but the algorithm wouldn't
Mm,
let you watch the
right,
video if there's any background music or anything.
right, yeah. Well, I wanted
Yeah.
be outside because I'm house sitting at a nice house that has a big patio and a little waterfall and lots of plants out in the backyard. And I was going to sit out there and give you nice ambiance, but it's pouring now. I'm glad that I decided to come in before we started because I would have been running in.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is
No.
literally, but we need the rain here, so I'm happy about it. My car was like pollinated. It needed, and I haven't gotten my window fixed yet because I'm having issues with finding somebody that'll actually do it. It's only a 2017. I don't understand why I can't find a window. I was broken into when I was house sitting in Philly, and my window got broken, and I can't find anybody that'll fix it. So I have a dealership appointment on the 3rd. Hopefully that will solve my problems. But that's just crazy that it's only a 2017. Why can't I find a window? It doesn't make sense to me, but but that's like but I'm handling it so much better. And this is a point to make real quick because in the past, if things like this happened, I would be falling apart seams and just like melting down over it. Like it's the end of the world, my window's broken, you know? And now I'm just like, well, there's got to be a lesson to learn in this, and I'm going to be patient, and it's going to work out because the dealership should know what to do, and they might have a better idea. Because some people were like saying, well, just don't get the tint on it, because that's really the problem. The green
Yeah.
tint is like out of stock everywhere. But just get a normal window and then tint it later, or just deal with it being a little off color or whatever. And I'm like, maybe they'll have a recommendation on that too, you know? So
Mhm.
just don't panic until you get all your answers, you know, and put it all on the
Yeah.
table. And so
Yeah. But
I've been like breathing through the little moments of like when it creeps up on you and you want, and you just breathe and you say, it's okay. You can't control this, but it's going to be okay. Because, you know, you always want to be in that control all the time, and it's hard not to be. But I've been doing so much better with this. I'm like, pat on the back. It's like,
that goes to the post I wrote earlier, though. I spent like an hour on one of the beaches just riding the little waves. And it was just particularly hard in, in these particular waves to actually just like walk out to them, because you would like just get smashed from the knees up. So, but once I got out there, it was a beautiful beach. Like you could actually walk. You didn't have to wear sandals or anything. I got up to like neck level because that's me. I'm just like, I'm gonna be like this in the water. This is my goal. um, like it was just, I had to remember that, like, you have to like not dig in.
right.
Like this universe doesn't require our stubbornness; it requires our willingness to be in flow. And so, like, I just picked up my feet and I just floated to where I wanted to go. Or I was like kind of like leaning, leaping into the waves so that I didn't even necessarily have to move, even though I moved.
Right.
Like it was this interesting, like kind of meta experience where it's just like, isn't this life? Like, isn't that just it?
Trust it.
Learning to be so okay
Right.
to where you are that you can just make a little jump and know that you're going to be just fine afterward. I mean, granted, that requires you, in a sense, then being in touch with your intuition, because that's the foresight of the wave coming. But your body feels it. You might not completely understand what the body or your other input senses are necessarily picking up, but you know something. Like you know enough that you can usually discern a timing behind it, where it's
Right.
just like, it's getting closer. Okay.
Right.
You know what? I'm just gonna go with it. I'm just gonna go because I can't worry about it. I see
That's the
something I want beyond that.
Linda on. I can't see, but there's lots of hearts. I feel like it's
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, Belinda. I can't see your comments, but I know the hearts usually mean it's
Just
her.
great big hugs and oh, the beach. Oh, it was a really nice little island.
Yeah.
It was hot.
Yeah.
If it were less hot, I would have enjoyed myself more. But 45-year-old menopause Lindsay body doesn't like heat anymore. It's like, all right, no.
No. Sometimes the humidity gets to me too, and I've always loved the humidity. It never bothered me until like recently when we went to Florida in April. I found some of those sticky days were just like, oh my God, we're walking around. I mean, that's what happened to me. I actually almost fainted in Clearwater because I didn't eat right, drinking enough, and there I was on the ground, having a sugar low. So you have to be careful. You take care of yourself and listen to your body, Andrea. It does tell you things, but you don't listen.
Yeah.
It's like, usually I'm in tune, but I was watching a show, but he was a fire person out there. And I think that might have done it too, because I was close to him and he had all these fire things. He was like putting it in his mouth and
Mm.
it and all that kind of stuff, a street performer kind of thing. He stood there for over a half an hour out in the beach sun on the concrete with a guy with fire. It just wasn't smart, but we were kind of just into him. I was recording it and everything, and all of a sudden, and he was done, and so was I. So yeah, it's like as soon as I had a little bit of a candy and a water, I started feeling fine again. So it's just like, okay, I guess this is the new Andrea. I have to make sure that I hydrate, and I don't handle it as well as I used to.
Yeah. No, there are those limits.
Listen,
And the funny part is though, like the living of it is almost like, to me, like the living of the intuition stuff is actually like very similar to listening to all those body
right.
cues of like,
It all
whoo, oh geez, okay, I need some water, I need to sit down, and I need to get some good food in me. Like
right.
just that, like, one little sensation is enough. That's my cue. But I find that it's the same thing with intuition. Like, just when you're listening to somebody's words and you're like,
Yeah.
"Mm, yeah, I feel that here." They're processing something.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, you just
Yeah.
kind of just know. Your body tells you even what they're thinking sometimes. It's not just like you don't just hear like voices in your head or anything. Sometimes you do, like I do, I know. But sometimes it's whispers, sometimes it's just a knowing, sometimes it's tinglies on the back of my neck, or like my hair stands up on my hands or something, or it could be that gut feeling, this tummy problem or something, it just comes on all of a sudden, you're like, oh. Or I've even gotten dizzy around people because
Hmm.
they're so wonky, like I can't be around you, dude. I don't know what the heck's going on there, but you're
Your
making
inner turmoil is like vortexing me into your inner. Yeah.
it's like a sucker thing.
Mhm.
If I'm around somebody too long and they've like I'm a good listener and I love helping people and talking to people, but if they just are too intense, I will feel very sick to my stomach and dizzy sometimes, and like I think I need to take a walk. It's like
And it gets worse if you don't like trigger in, or if you don't like hone in on who or
right.
why, because then it feels just like out of context. Like all of a sudden I'm sick, and then maybe your mind's you start believing that, oh well, I just got sick.
You know,
And sometimes,
like
like, especially in the beginning, it has to happen a couple times for you to be like, oh shit, that's them.
right. It's like, why is this happening every time I'm with this person? And then all of a sudden, then you catch on. And then all of a sudden, the next time you're like, oh, that's what that is. And you just learn. It doesn't just hit you all at once. It takes years of practice honing in on your own cues, because you understand, you just ignore it sometimes because you probably did all your life before that, and now you're just coming into that extra knowing, and it's like, why is that weird? I'll think about it like for like a week after. I'll keep thinking about this one person and why I felt like this around them. And once I kind of get into who they are, what I know about them, what they were talking about that time, and I'm like, oh, that's why. And it becomes more apparent. And the next time I'm more prepared. And that's where the boundaries come in. And you have to know, it's like, okay, I can help this person. I could talk to them, let them vent. I can give them a little bit of nudging kind of advice. But then it's like, you're going to have to politely tell them how to do their own work for themselves. Like, give them some tools and help them so they don't depend on you, because that's what happens if I don't. People become more dependent and keep coming back for the same thing all the time and not really moving forward because Andrea is there to pick up the
Mhm.
pieces and
Yeah.
do that all the time. So it's experience. It
But
comes
it's
in
also
time.
like I don't buy into the whole guru situation that the spiritual community has, because we often need to like make our own way with things, and any given teacher is always only going to be like ever part of your journey,
Right.
because like, you just like you need the diversity.
Exactly. Different
Yeah.
throughout my journey that had fallen away after a while. I was really excited about them. I learned a lot from them, did their programs, whatever. And then all of a sudden one day it's just like, I don't resonate anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you just
I'm
know.
done with that.
Like,
I'm done with this
about it.
work. Whatever it is, I'm good with it now.
Right.
Yeah.
I made a lot of progress. And we fought like hell to get here, and they were wonderful for that part of the journey. But now I feel like I need some time to myself before I pick something else up. But then in time, like, it does. It's like, because you're on a different frequency level by then. You've leveled up. So now you need somebody on that level to work with
Yeah,
you.
or beyond.
Not,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
And whichever way you're growing. Yeah.
right. A level
But
ahead of you so that you can get to their level.
Melinda wants to know how hot it is. I don't actually know. I didn't look at the weather app today, but it feels like it could be like mid to high 80s. And it wouldn't be so bad because, we're at sea. You get some wind usually when you're moving, but the humidity is awful. Like, it's when you open the door and you're like, oh, steam bath. So, yeah, not dealing with that today, especially when you can't find a seat in shade.
I think in places does you worse because you're going from the dry air conditioning to that humid air, and you're going back and forth. That's why your sinuses and all get wonky. And
Yeah. Yeah. Like, you can't tell because I'm farther away here, but like my voice is a little froggy and my eyes are swollen and like me and my sinuses. Like, I still have to do that Megan Rose activation from last weekend. I didn't get my headset set up before I left, and it's been hard because the internet is literally only for one device. I cannot log out of my phone and log back into another one of my devices here. So it's been a little bit more
yeah.
challenging to run the pre stuff for our master class from the ship. But yeah, it is what it is. This is a founders launch, so we're not going for huge numbers here of people. we're just starting this journey, and it's been amazing so far.
You're helping us. You, we're helping each other.
Yeah. We did have a question really about like how would you work to open up somebody's mind, um or more like to change, to help change their mind, but in the context of probably teamwork, or not necessarily like family. But I know that you have a lot of experience with that, Andrea, because you were working in the school system. You were TSS, so you helped autistic children or children in need
Right.
with their school work to stay focused and their organizational skills and all of that. So is there anything you want to say to that?
There's a lot of dynamics when you're in the workplace, especially like with me. You have other TSS in the room with other kids. You have aides, you have teachers, you have a whole bunch of people with all different kind of energies, and you get somebody who is having something happening at home and they don't know how to let it go at work, and and so they come across bitchy, and you can't get what you need from them done to help your kid because you have this block with them. It's like a roadblock, you know. And it's like you don't know how to communicate with them because it's like every time I say something, all I get is snarky comments. Something. And so then it bounces back to you and your energy, and all of a sudden you're getting snarky with them. And then you have to take a step
Mirroring it.
back and say, whoa, I see what's happening here. And then it's like over time, I'm a good listener and an observer because of how I work with the kids. And so I kind of do that with the adults around me too. You know, as an empath, I could feel everything they feel, but I also listen to the little, like their little snarkiness that they might be saying under their breath, not really to anybody, or, you know, how they get a little bit sensitive about a certain topic, dealing with a kid or something. And then, you know, put it all together and you say, oh, she did mention her son is having a hard time at home and running away and causing trouble, and the police were called or something. That happened with somebody. And it's like, she's bringing that to work, and she doesn't mean to be mean to you, Andrea. She's dealing with shit, you know. It's like big for her. And then she got a whole classroom of autistic and MR kids to deal with, and it's like, where do you put all that? So it's like take a step back, kind of walk in their shoes a little bit, see it from their perspective, and say, I probably feel the same way. So how can I help this person so that we can communicate better? And so over, you know, a couple weeks or so, you kind of just nudge it a little bit and get into a conversation here and there. You're passing out papers, you're helping get in line, you're doing something normal, but you can nonchalantly just agree with them, support them, say, I had a personal experience with this and this, and I can relate to you. And nonchalantly get in there without getting into their business, without, you know, being too intrusive, but just nonchalantly just talk about little things here and there, and all of a sudden you have a great relationship with this person, and they become your best friend in the end. I've had that happen so many times. So there's been people in the workplaces that everybody's like, oh God, that person again. Oh, you don't want to work with them, you don't want to be teamed up with them. And it's like they become, my mom and I both do this, the oddballs in every situation become our best friends. Because I guess we just know how to do that. We can work through it and know it's not us, and that everybody has a life, everybody has circumstances that we can't control, and they just need somebody to understand it, have passion for it, without trying to fix it, without getting too involved. It's hard in the workplace. You don't really want, you want to mindfulness, you don't want to bring all that into the picture, but sometimes you can't help it. And
No,
if you help
no.
them relax and like come to work and say, okay, I can have refuge here, I can have somebody to talk to, I can eat lunch with her and we can laugh, or whatever you need to do. Or sometimes I just like bring in something that I homemade something, or, you know, like you just give a little and you get a lot back. And
Yeah.
I mean, even with the kids, sometimes you just have to redirect them onto something funny, something like a game they want to play, or like get them out of their head and into something fun so that they can get out of the tantrum or whatever
Yeah.
is bothering them. And adults are
Yeah.
the same. I mean, just maybe a little bit more mature in the way you handle it, but it's still the same thing. Just change the energy in the room.
Right.
It could be
When it
that subtle,
comes to
you know?
when it comes to adults, I think of it more like you just have to like retrace your steps back to the point where you were both in agreement,
Right.
or that place that you
Common
can
ground.
both be in agreement with, and then just like work from there. Because like, especially with something like work, like, you can't always guarantee somebody's going to be like the best team player. You can't always guarantee that they're not showing up in really weird ass conditions. I mean, my husband worked in IT for many, many years, remote from home, and the rest of his team did too. And like the circumstances people would bring to the workplace, to the virtual workplace at, top companies sometimes, like IBM. It was like how do these people function? Like, I don't understand. We're sitting here and we're prioritizing our connection and our ability to be at work and have an at work environment
Right.
at home. Like, but not everybody has that privilege. They really don't.
I actually,
Um,
I would do
so you
training.
really have to come back to that point of like, just making sure that they're okay,
Right.
just as people
That's
showing up to work.
training
A place of agreement,
break.
saying like, let's make this a good day together.
Mm-hmm. Over Christmas break, we would have trainings to make up hours and stuff that we couldn't have for being in school and all. And they asked me for years. I was doing trainings on how to keep a positive in the work environment. How to, when you're stressed out about your kid and what they're doing, what's happening with them or the adults in the classroom, how to cope, how to turn it around, how to go home and not take your work with you and all that kind of stuff. That was like my, and they loved me. I used to do it all the time. It was so much fun, It was like I just knew how to teach it because it becomes so natural to me, just from learning from experience that and if you could help somebody else learn how to do that, it changes the whole work environment for everybody. And I think more places
Mm-hmm.
do that because I think that would help everybody get along better. Their customers, their clientele, everybody would have a different rapport because they would know how to come in differently, to start from the very start. If you have a different perspective from the start and how you're going to handle things, usually it goes smoother,
Yeah.
you
And
know?
I really find the less expectations I have, the more I'm able to find the flow to get to the ultimate just short-term destination,
Right.
that meeting or that, yeah. So like if I sit there and I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna bring in like Robert's Rules of Order, like it's gonna feel awful. But if I sit there and I say like, all right, well, we'll just do updates and new business kind of stuff, and I just have that in my head,
Right.
that's, we find our way there. Hello, Jessica. How are you? Oh, hi, Bridget. Oh, but um, we are not like big business people, but we like showing up here and we want to start showing up in a completely different way. And we're going to open up a membership like midweek next week for Unleash Your Inner Queen. And that would be your intuitive queen in case you missed the context of all the other videos we've been doing. um, but we just want to make sure that we mention that. And I know Andrea had something that she wanted to read to all of you today about that.
It came out so wonderfully. We invite you to embark on a journey of exploration with us. Beginning on June 12th, we will unleash a 5-day adventure that is sure to be unforgettable. Join us as we dive into uncharted territory and discover new perspectives and insights. We can't wait to share the experience with you.
Yes, and we'll drop the link for that. But really, like the whole premise, even for the masterclass that we're doing, is really just being able to show up and have these kind of conversations
Yeah.
and really like go a little deeper than you'd normally go in just like a canned class or something like that. We will have little task videos because I really feel that like energy work is like a huge thing. So like for just your daily living, for just showing up, for just being in a space that's different from how you rolled out of bed in the morning. But it forms a basis to something that leads to like so much bigger movement. And I want to say manifestation because everybody knows what that is, but um, really honing in and growing your energy and learning to hold your own personal energy so that you feel good, but then it's like you can grow bigger, you can choose new opportunities, you can say like, you know what, I just like I want something different, and today I feel strong enough to start reaching for that, to start leaning into it. I feel this willingness to say like, you know what, this is my life, this is my life, and you know what, I'm just gonna go. And then this whole question of like, maybe I had some boundaries becomes a very different conversation because you're showing up for yourself and you're showing up for what you want. And you're really like getting in touch with that inner intuitive queen of being self-directed and of being sovereign and of being in this gorgeous place for yourself, just for yourself. It doesn't have to be more. It doesn't have to be about healing all the things and fixing this stuff. And when we just remember our wholeness and that commitment and that practice, just to feel that, like it's an amazing thing. And it does end up changing your life. It changes your energy. You feel a lot more aligned. But that's the journey we're starting with Unleashed. And we'll continue into the membership, of course, but you'll hear more about that next week. I just ask you to, sign up for Unleashed. It's going to be happening in a private group, so you will need the link to get into it. And I can't wait to see you there because this is going to be amazing. And this is going to be like soul deep, and it's going to be like, ooh, you're going to feel like, you're going to feel it. Because I already feel it. It's like, ooh, that energy is coming in already. So that's good.
It's a safe environment that you can share. We want you to participate, because we learn from each other and we know we're not alone. When we hear other people's experiences, you might be afraid to speak at first, but when you hear somebody else's story in the comments or something, you're going to want to open up because you relate. And it's all about being a community and relating to each other and knowing that you have some place to go that's safe and that you're not alone and that you can unleash yourself and get great at it.
And this is a founding member launch, so like you are really going to help us be able to craft how this grows and how it goes forward as a founding member. So I am excited to see what we all kind of co-create together in this.
Because when we know what we need, then we can make the program better and incorporate things because your opinion, what you need counts. So, that's why when you participate, we really take that to heart and we learn from you, and that's how the program will grow. And down the line, you'll be helping more people too.
Yeah, because you'll be in a better place. We're going to drop the link probably after this video.
I will.
Because I'm on a cruise ship and I'm like, all I have working right now is my phone.
Okay.
But it's just a free sign up for the Unleashed Masterclass, and we'll drop the link here, or we'll DM you, Bridget, whatever. However.
Emails though, because you want to be in the group so that you're in on all the action because it's a private group. So make sure you check your emails after you sign up because as you get closer, you'll be getting more information.
All right. I'm done here. I'm probably gonna go get another coffee and then take a nap. There's no class for the master class, and for the founding members, we're charging like this ridiculously cheap price for our founding members for the membership. So there's just like a 3-month commitment, but it's like we're only going to be like $20 a month.
Yeah.
But that like that includes like a membership vault with some courses about tuition and about, straightening out your empathy. And of course, all the call recordings. There's going to be 3 different meetings a month. So full moon, and then just like a Q&A, kind of like this kind of session. But the new moon is going to be a guidance sling where we sit down together, we pull cards, we have coffee, maybe a little bit of wine if you want it. And we just, get into it with each other. It's not us playing cards for you, we're playing cards for each other. So we're practicing. And it doesn't have to be cards. If you want to start practicing using a different technique or just using your intuitive connection to connect to people on video per se, like this is a wonderful experience for that. And the full moon, it's a kind of like a release ritual I want to put together where it's just, I'm calling it Howl at the Full Moon ritual. God damn the universe, no.
Looking outside stuff because I'm always in a different place and I have some really cool farms and stuff. You'll get the inside scoop on the places I'm at and how I do ritual while I'm gone and stuff like that, and because you never know, you might want to learn how to do a traveling altar, when you go on vacation like Lindsay is, you might want to take something with you and you'll get to learn all about how I travel and still keep my practice up, It'll be so much fun.
All right.
Fun already.
Yeah. Right. But I go because I'm like, I'm dying here. It's not you. It's just the recovering from all the sun yesterday. I'm like back up again. Okay.
Water, because that's what you need. You need water.
I'm sitting here with water. But now I think I'm starting to clear out. So I'm starting to get disgusting. So let me go get disgusting in private. We'll make sure we drop that link or DM you, Bridget. Okay. All right. All right. Mwah. Love you all. And if you are in the Unleash Masterclass or if you're just about to sign up, our first video is actually Sunday night, and it's just we're going to introduce ourselves and have fun together, just to set the energy, just to help set expectations. And love you. Yeah. Bye-bye.